I want us to see how we can combine the index plus match function so that it can help us to identify the price given that the product is actually equivalent to the desk. So we have a table array here. That's for the products on column 1 of the table array. Column 2 of the table array, we have the prices. So in this point, we would actually want to identify the price given that the product is actually equivalent to the desk. So how is that actually possible? So it's actually very possible. So before we actually continue, make sure you actually subscribe to my YouTube channel and also follow me on my X account so that we can actually build this data analytics platform together. So let's actually start. So it's equivalent to index, then you actually open. It will ask you for the array. So in this point here, we are going to return the prices. So that's what will actually be the array inside the index. So select the prices array like that, because this is what we would actually want to return. So that must actually be inside the index, comma, then add the match function. So that's why we actually call this index plus match. So we are actually going to return the prices. That's why the prices array is actually inside the index function. Then we are matching that price inside the index with what we have on this other array. So on this other array, the lookup value is actually equivalent to the desk. So we are actually going to return the price for the desk. So the lookup value is actually equivalent to the desk, which is actually on I-19. And that lookup value, the desk, is actually inside this lookup array like that. And we are actually doing an exact match. So you double click on this point like that. You close the match function. Then you actually close the index function. Just like that. Very simple. So let me actually go through it again. So in this point, we actually say that we are going to use the index plus match function. So this is exactly what I do have here. I have the index plus the match function. So index, then this is actually the range where the price will actually come from. So the price will actually come from this range here. Yes. Then we are actually matching this price here with what we have on the products array. And what is actually the product? My product is actually the desk. So I want to match this desk here inside this product array with the price inside the price array. So I'm matching this desk, which is actually on I-19. Yes. And that desk in I-19 is actually inside this lookup array. So lookup array is the array where you actually have the lookup value. So if your lookup value is actually equivalent to the desk, yes, then that desk is actually inside this array. That's the products array from I-11 all the way to I-16. So, comma, then you actually have a 0 because I'm actually obtaining an exact match. Just like that. So this is basically what you call the index plus match function. So in this point here, I'll actually be obtaining the price. So hit enter on the keyboard. Now you can actually check that I do have 70. Just like that. Now, what if I would actually want to obtain the price for here? So here, just like that, you can actually check that it's 63, but I would actually want us to write it. So backspace so that it can actually disappear like that. So the price for the chair is actually equivalent to 63, but I would actually want us to use the index plus match function. So let's actually go. It's equivalent to index like that. Then you actually open. Where do we actually do have the price array? So the array for the price actually comes from this point here, which is actually from J11 to J16. That's array for the prices, comma. Then we are actually matching this price with the product that you do have here. So this is actually the product, which is actually the chair, and this chair is actually inside this array here, which is actually from I-11 all the way to I-16. So match function, then open. So what's actually your lookup value? This is actually the item. So we would actually want to match this product here with the price on the other end. So my lookup value is actually on I-19, comma. This lookup value on I-19 is actually located on this lookup array. This is where we do have the chair, comma. Are you obtaining the exact match or the approximate match? That's the less than or the greater than. In this point here, I'm actually obtaining the exact match. So you double click on this 0 here, then you close the match function, another bracket again for the index function, just like that. So we expect the result to be equivalent to 63. Hit enter the keyboard, that's actually 63. Now, to avoid the errors when typing, let's say, for example, if you would like to obtain the price for the lapel, you can just type here lapel like that. hit enter on the keyboard, you can actually check that the price is equivalent to 54. So we have the product here to be lapel, and the price is actually equivalent to 54. Now, what if you actually make a mistake and type lap like that and hit enter on the keyboard? Now you actually realize that you will have the NA error. So to avoid these NA errors when typing, yes, you will have to do one thing. And before we actually check on that, I'll actually bring you to this point here. So remember, you can still access all my courses on my Google Drive account. So you can access all my courses just at $100. So my site is actually on hold because there are some things I'm actually working on. So you will access all these courses, and when the website is actually back, you won't actually lose your access. So imagine accessing all this at $100 when the deal is actually going at $945. So that's actually one of the biggest deals here. And on the other end, you can actually check that I will also be accepting the projects from your end. Let's say, for example, if your project is actually running monthly, let's say, for example, the cloud in Excel prompting, dashboards and charts, automation, pivot tables and models, Power BI, financial forecast, templates management, I can do all this for your company just at $550. So this is a monthly retainer. So every month it will be $550. For the one-time task, let's say, for example, the AI-powered dashboard designs, data analysis and insights, AI automation and smart macros, AI enhanced Power BI reports, all those work will actually be going at $150, $200, $250, all the way to $300. Up here, you will also realize that I will be designing the templates for you. So I can actually design a template for you and manage it for you every month at just $50. So this is also a monthly retainer for the templates. I design for you and manage it for you every month at $50. And for the one-time task, let's say, for example, you need the ultimate business dashboard templates, you need the personal finance templates, you need the inventory management templates, you also need the reporting templates, you need the HR templates, sales performance tracker templates. All those you'll actually get at affordable prices: $22, $19, $15, $19, $12, $17. You can actually check that the prices are actually very affordable. So to actually reach me out for the projects, the templates, and the courses, this is actually my email here. So get in touch with me so that you can actually do the business. So to avoid these typing errors here, we have to introduce the drop-down list so that you won't actually be typing but selecting from a list. So how do we actually introduce a drop-down list? So let's actually go. So you come to this point here, that's the data tab. Inside the data tab, we have what you actually call the data tools. You click on this point here and you hit on data validation. Then on this point here for the settings, allow list, just like that. And on this point here for the source, you have to select these items here. So you select all of them like that, or you can just type them and separate with a comma. So just like that, and make sure you actually click on OK here. Make sure that the cell which you would actually want the drop-down list to be added to has been selected. So just like that, and click on OK. And now you can actually check that I do have the drop-down list on this cell because I had actually selected this cell. So if you select this cell like that and go to the data tab, data tools, click on this point, data validation, and then you just come to this point here, and let's say list, come to this point again to the source. You have to select like that, and the moment you hit enter, you'll actually realize that you'll have a drop down list there. So you have to select the cell first which you would actually want the drop down list to appear. So to actually remove this drop down list, click on the cell which has the drop down list, then get yourself to the data tab there, data tools group. Click on this point again, data validation. Then on this point here, click on clear all, then OK. Now you can actually check that it has disappeared. So in this point here, we had already added the drop down list. Now you can actually click on it like that and select headphone. Now you can actually check that the price is actually $42. On this point too, you can also click on the drop down list. Click on the ring light. You can actually check that the price is actually $71. So basically that's how you can use a drop-down list so that you can avoid the typing errors which will actually get you the NA errors. Let's meet in the next video.